How did one sleepover in our bed turn into papers being handed to me in front of my coworkers? Why did my husband look calm while I stood there shaking, seeing the words, "Orders start today," in black and white? My name is Idalia Rowe, but everyone calls me Ida. I was 34, and I worked the front desk at a dental clinic. I liked order. I liked being the one who knew schedules, names, and secrets. People smiled at me when they needed something. I told myself that meant I was important. Ethan was my husband. He was 36, and he worked in IT security. He always spoke like he was trying not to make a mistake. He checked doors twice. He asked for receipts. He talked about systems the way other men talked about sports. I used to say I liked it because it made me feel safe. Later, I said it made me feel trapped. The week he had to travel for work, he acted quiet in the house. I noticed it in the kitchen first. He wiped the counter even when it was already clean. He lined up his travel chargers like he was packing for a storm. I asked why he was acting like that. He said he was just getting ready. I had already told Maren she could stay over while he was gone. Maren was my best friend. She had big laughs and fast opinions. She spoke like rules were made for other people. She had helped me through hard days, and I told myself that gave her a place in my home. Ethan asked where Maren would sleep. I said she could sleep wherever she wanted. He asked why she could not use the guest bed. I said the guest bed was uncomfortable and the master bed had better air. He said he was not okay with her sleeping in our bed. I said he was being weird about a bed. He asked if I remembered our talk about boundaries. I said I remembered him trying to control small things. He said it was not a small thing. I said it was only a mattress and he was acting like it had feelings. He asked me to respect one simple request. I said respect should not come with rules. In my mind, I was the reasonable one. I worked all day. I paid half the bills. I handled Mila's school papers. Ethan acted like he owned the place because he installed a camera system and changed the light bulbs. I told myself he needed to learn that marriage was not a prison. He walked to the hallway closet and pointed at the small panel by the door. He asked if I knew the security system sent motion alerts. I said yes. He asked if I knew the cameras covered entry points in the living room. I said yes, and reminded him I had agreed when he set it up. He said he did not want surprises. I said he was the one creating surprises by acting suspicious. He asked why I sounded angry. I said he made me angry by assuming the worst. He said he was not assuming. He said he was asking. I said asking was the same thing when the question was already a blame. I watched him for signs of guilt. I wanted him to raise his voice. I wanted him to slam something, just a little, so I could call my mother and say he was acting scary again. He did not do it. He stayed calm. That always annoyed me more than any yelling. He put his phone on the counter for a moment. A calendar reminder popped up. I saw it without trying. It said, "Meeting, personal, with a time in the morning." I asked what that was. He said it was just something he needed to handle. I asked if it was about me. He said it was about life. That answer felt like an insult. I wanted him to say my name. I wanted him to beg. Instead, he opened a drawer in his desk later, and I heard a click. It sounded like a lock. I told myself it was nothing. Then I told myself it was proof he was hiding things. Both thoughts helped me. At the clinic the next day, I took my break in the tiny room near the supply closet. The coffee tasted burnt. The air smelled like gloves and mint. I texted Maren and told her Ethan was being dramatic about the bed. She sent a laughing emoji and said he was sensitive. I told her he always tried to make me feel guilty. She said I should stop letting him. I liked how she said it like it was simple. I liked how she made me feel like the main character in a story where I was always right. A coworker walked in and asked why I was smiling at my phone. I said it was just a meme. I did not say it was my friend joking about my husband. I did not say I was already planning how to tell people Ethan was controlling if he complained. That afternoon, Ethan called me from his office. He asked if we could talk without fighting. I said there was no fighting unless he started it. He asked again where Maren would sleep. I said the master bed because it was comfortable. He went quiet for a moment. Then he asked me to choose the guest room out of respect for him. I said I was tired of his respect tests. He asked me what I would say if his friend slept in our bed. I said it would not happen because he did not have close friends like that. I said it like a jab, and I knew it. I told myself he needed honesty. Really, I liked the way it made him pause. When I got home, Mila was coloring at the table. She was 7 and always listened, even when she acted busy. Ethan asked Mila about her day. She said she got a star sticker. He smiled. I watched his face and looked for cracks. I wanted to see anger. I wanted to feel powerful. Instead, he looked normal, like a man trying hard not to lose his temper. After dinner, my mother called. Deborah Pike always asked questions like she was collecting proof for court, even when nothing was happening. She asked why Ethan sounded quiet the last time she saw him. I said he was moody lately. She asked if he was still strict about things. I said yes, and added that he got weird about my friendships. She said men hated confident women. I said that was true. Jessa, my sister, texted me too. She asked if it was smart to let Maren sleep in our bed. I told her she was being dramatic like Ethan. She replied that a guest bed existed for a reason. I replied that she was acting like a man's assistant. I told myself I was defending women. I told myself I was setting a healthy standard. I did not admit I liked crossing the line because it proved I could. On the night Ethan packed, he placed a new key on his ring. I noticed because he set it down carefully and turned it once, like he was checking the cut. I asked what that was for. He said it was just a spare. I asked why he needed a spare now. He said it was practical. He carried his suitcase to the door. He asked if I would keep things calm while he was away. I said I would keep things normal. He asked what normal meant to me. I said it meant not treating my home like a rule book. He leaned down and kissed Mila's head. Then he looked at me. He asked me one last time to respect the bed. I said I respected him, but I refused to be controlled. He nodded like he was taking notes in his mind. Then he left. I stood by the window and watched his car back out of the driveway. I did not feel sad. I felt like I had won something, even though I could not name what it was. I picked up my phone and opened my messages. I told Maren he was gone, and I told her to come over whenever she wanted. Maren came over that same night. I heard her knock like she owned the door. I opened it and she hugged me hard, then looked past me into the hallway. She asked where Ethan was. I said he was already on the road and he should relax. She said the house felt bigger without him. I said it felt lighter. She rolled her suitcase inside and did not even glance at the guest room. She pointed her chin toward the bedroom and asked if we could just be comfortable. I said yes, like it was nothing. I told myself I was being a good friend. I told myself a bed was not a contract. In the bedroom, Maren dropped her bag near my side of the closet. She asked if Ethan had rules about it. I said he had feelings, and he called them rules. She laughed and said he sounded exhausting. I nodded and felt seen. She changed into pajamas and sat on the bed like she was testing it. She asked if it was okay. I said it was fine. She asked if I was sure. I said I was the one who slept there every night, not him. That was not even true, not in that moment, but it sounded strong. We ate snacks on the comforter. Crumbs fell, and I did not care. Maren scrolled her phone and showed me old photos of us from years ago, when I was single and loud. She said I used to be fun. I said, marriage made women smaller. She agreed fast, the way she always did. She took a selfie with me. The background showed the headboard. She asked if she should post it. I said it was harmless. She said Ethan would hate it. I said that was his problem. She posted it with a playful caption. I watched the likes appear like little votes. A part of me knew it was petty. Another part of me liked the petty. I told myself it was a test. If Ethan was good, he would ignore it. If he reacted, it proved my point that he was controlling. Later, Maren asked if we should go out. I said I was tired. She asked if I was tired or scared. I said I was just tired. She said I needed one night that was mine. I said I already had nights that were mine, but the words sounded weak, so I agreed to go. We went to a rooftop bar near downtown. The air was cold, but the heaters made it feel warm enough to stay. The music was loud. Maren chose a table where people could see us. She said we needed visibility. I knew what she meant. We met two of her friends there. They asked where Ethan was. I said he was traveling for work, like he always did. They asked if I was okay. I said I was more than okay. I said it felt peaceful, without someone watching my every move. That was not fair, but it sounded good in public. Maren told them Ethan policed the house. She said he tracked everything and made Ida feel guilty. I did not correct her. I added details to make it sound worse. I said he even had cameras, like a suspicious person. I left out that I had agreed to them. I left out that they were pointed at doors and the living room, not at private places. One of the women asked if that was legal. I said I did not know, but it felt wrong. Maren said it was creepy. I nodded again. In my head, I was building a story that made me the victim and him the problem. Then Connor showed up. Connor was a sales rep who came into my clinic often. He always acted friendly, like he knew how to make people lean closer. He had a calm smile that felt like attention. When he walked toward our table, Maren raised her eyebrows at me like she was saying, "Here we go." Connor asked how I was. I said I was stressed lately. He asked why. I said Ethan had been weird and distant. Connor said that sounded hard. I liked how he said it like he cared. He asked if Ethan was with me. I said no, he was out of town. Connor asked how long. I said a few days. Maren said I deserved to relax. Connor agreed quickly. Maren went to the bar for another drink and left Connor and me alone. He asked if I wanted to talk outside where it was quieter. I said maybe later. He asked if I felt safe at home. I said yes, but then I added that Ethan's mood was unpredictable. That was a lie in a clean shirt. Ethan did not explode. Ethan withdrew. I made it sound worse because it gave me a reason for my choices. Connor asked if Ethan ever yelled. I said he did not yell much, but the silence was worse. Connor said silence was a kind of control. I said that was exactly it. I felt proud, like I was doing therapy in a bar. On the ride home, Maren sat close to me in the back seat. She asked if I liked Connor. I said he was just a friend. She asked why I smiled when he looked at me. I said it was just polite. She laughed and said I was lying to myself. At the house, Maren kicked off her shoes in the hallway. Connor stood by the door like he was waiting for permission. He asked if I needed help bringing anything in. I said we did not need help. Maren said it was fine and told him to come in for a minute. I should have said no, I did not. I told myself it was still just social. I told myself I could handle it. That is what I always told myself when I wanted something. Connor stepped inside and looked around. He said the place was nice. He asked if Ethan did all the tech stuff. I said yes. He liked controlling systems. Connor said it must be tiring. I said it was. Maren walked straight toward the bedroom like it was her idea. She said she wanted to show Connor the princess bed. I laughed and followed, even though I felt a small pinch in my stomach. I ignored it. In the bedroom, Maren sat on the bed again and patted the spot beside her. Connor stood near the doorway. He asked if this was okay. I said it was just a room. I heard my own voice and knew I was pushing it. I still pushed. Maren asked Connor if he wanted water. He said yes. She left, and suddenly it was quiet. Connor looked at me and asked if Ethan would be mad. I said Ethan always got mad about something. Connor asked if I wanted him to go. I said I wanted peace. I did not describe what happened next, even in my own mind. I only knew I chose the moment. I chose the room. I chose not to stop it. And I chose to call it something softer so I could sleep later. At some point, Connor left. I heard the front door click. I heard Maren whisper from the hallway and ask if I was okay. I said I was fine. She said I deserved to feel wanted. I said that was true. In the morning, my phone had messages. A friend had replied to Maren's post with laughing emojis. Another person had written that Ethan would cry about it. I liked the attention, even though it made my chest tight. I checked my calls. Ethan had not called. That felt strange. He usually texted at least once when he traveled. I told myself he was busy. Then I told myself he was trying to punish me with silence. I did not know yet that in his hotel room, he had looked at his phone and seen the motion alert. I did not know he had watched the timestamps stack up like simple math. I did not know he had taken screenshots and saved them, calm and quiet, like a man doing a job. I only knew his silence had started, and it felt different than before. 2 days later, Ethan came home. I heard his key turn in the front door while I was in the kitchen, pretending I was calm. Mila ran first. She asked if he brought her a gift. He said he brought her a small keychain from the airport. She hugged him and did not notice how his shoulders looked stiff. He looked at me after he put his suitcase down. He asked how things went. I said everything was normal. He asked if Maren stayed. I said yes, because I was not going to hide a friendship like it was shameful. He asked where she slept. I said she slept in the bed because the guest bed hurt her back. He nodded once. He did not argue. That annoyed me because I had prepared for a fight. I watched him as he walked through the living room. He glanced at the camera panel by the door, like he was checking the time. He asked if Mila had been okay. I said Mila was fine, and I handled it all alone, like always. He asked if I needed help. I said I did not need help. I needed respect. That night, he did not reach for me. He did not ask for details. He brushed his teeth and set his phone on the dresser like it was a tool. He asked if I wanted him to sleep in the room. I said it was his room too, so he could do what he wanted. He said he would sleep in the guest room for now so Mila could have calm mornings. I asked why he was acting like a victim. He said he was acting like a parent. In the morning, I woke up and saw my mug on one side of the counter and his mug on the other side. It looked like a quiet line down the middle. I told myself it was childish. Then I told myself it was proof he wanted to punish me. Both ideas made me angry, so I chose the one that made me feel right. I decided I needed people on my side. Silence can be dangerous when you cannot control it. So I started talking. At the school pickup line, I stood with other parents near the gate. Everyone smiled the way they always did, like we were all part of a small club. One mom asked how Ethan's trip was. I said it was fine, but he came back moody. She asked what I meant. I said he had trust issues. I used that phrase on purpose. It sounds serious, but it sounds like his fault. I added that he had cameras in the house, and he watched alerts on his phone. I did not say the cameras were for doors and safety. I did not say I once told him it made me feel secure. I said it like he was spying on me. The mom's smile froze for a second. Then she nodded slowly. Another parent asked if that was legal. I said I did not know, but it made me uncomfortable. I said Ethan acted like he was the manager of the house. I saw a dad nearby glance over, and I felt a small thrill. I liked that people were looking at me like I had a problem to solve. When Mila came out, she held my hand tight. She asked if Dad was coming to the playground later. I said maybe, if he stopped being weird. She asked what weird meant. I said it meant quiet. She said quiet was not bad. That line made me feel exposed, like my child had better judgment than me. Ethan did come to the playground that evening. He stood near the bench and watched Mila climb. He did not hover. He did not look at his phone much. He asked me if Mila had homework. I said yes. He asked if he could help her later. I said he could, if he could act normal. He asked what normal meant. I said it meant not treating me like a suspect. He did not take the bait. He asked if we could keep adult problems away from Mila. I said Mila already felt the tension because he created it. He said he would not argue in front of her. Then he stood up and pushed Mila on the swing, like I was not there. That made me feel small, and I hated feeling small. That weekend, we had dinner at a family restaurant. It was one of those places with long tables and loud plates. My mother had planned it like a show. Deborah loved a scene, even when she pretended she did not. She hugged me first and asked if I was okay. I said I was trying my best. Then she hugged Ethan and held him at arm's length like she was inspecting him. She asked Ethan if he was still being strict. He said he was being careful. She asked what that meant. He said it meant keeping life stable for Mila. My mother rolled her eyes. She said stability was not an excuse to control a woman. Ethan said he was not controlling anyone. My mother said men always said that. Maren came too. She sat close to me like a shield. She asked Ethan if he missed his cameras while he was gone. Ethan looked at her and said he missed his daughter. Maren laughed like he was being dramatic. I laughed too, because I did not want to be the only one laughing. My sister Jessa sat across from me and did not smile much. She asked me quietly if I was okay. I said I was great. She asked why I sounded tense. I said she was imagining it. She looked at Ethan and then looked away. During dinner, I told a story about how Ethan asked where Maren slept. I made it sound like he demanded it. I said he treated our bedroom like a sacred space. My cousins laughed. Someone said Ethan was old-fashioned. I acted like it was funny, but I watched Ethan's face the whole time. He did not blush. He did not snap. He cut his food and listened. When someone asked him if he really cared about that, he said he cared about respect. I said respect was a two-way street. He asked what respect looked like to me. I said it looked like trust. He said trust was built by behavior. I said he was quoting a book. My father Glenn cleared his throat and asked if we could talk about something else. My mother said no, because this was important. She said Ethan needed to hear how he made me feel. Ethan said he heard it. He said he would not argue about feelings in public. My mother said he always tried to look like the calm one. Ethan said he was calm. That sentence irritated me. It was like he was refusing to play the role I gave him. I leaned in and asked why he was so cold lately. He asked what I meant. I said he did not touch me anymore, and it felt like punishment. He said he was giving space. I said space was abandonment. He said he did not abandon Mila. Karen, Ethan's mother, was there too. She sat with her hands folded and watched me like she was learning something. She asked me one simple question. She asked why Maren needed our bed at all. I told her it was just a bed. She said a bed could be a boundary. I said boundaries were just control in nicer words. Karen said boundaries were how people stay kind. I felt my cheeks burn. I said Karen was taking Ethan's side because she always did. Karen said she was taking Mila's side. That made the table go quiet for a second, and I hated her for it. After dinner, Ethan carried Mila to the car when she fell asleep. He buckled her in carefully. He asked me if I wanted to drive home or if he should. I said I could drive. He said okay and handed me the keys like it was nothing. At home, I walked past his desk and saw his drawer again. I tried the handle when he was in the bathroom. It was locked. I told myself he was hiding something. Then I told myself it was probably a surprise gift. I laughed at my own thought because it was too nice to be true. That night, after Mila was asleep, I heard a low hum from the hallway. It sounded like the shredder. I paused and listened. The hum stopped. Then I smelled something faint, like warm toner or paper. Ethan came out of the laundry room and asked if I needed anything. I said no. He looked at me for a moment like he was deciding how much to say. Then he asked me to keep things civil around Mila. I said I had always been civil. He said okay, in a flat voice, and walked away. I stood there, holding my phone, feeling like the house was changing shape around me. Monday morning at the clinic felt too bright. The lights buzzed and the floor smelled like cleaner. I sat at the front desk and smiled at patients like my life was normal. I told myself I was the strong one. I told myself Ethan was the one acting strange. Connor arrived around mid-morning with his usual sample bag. He nodded at me, but his smile did not stay long. He asked how things were at home. I said they were fine, but Ethan had been cold. Connor said he did not like cold homes. I said I did not either. I tried to keep him near the desk like usual. I asked if he wanted coffee. He said no. I asked if he had time to talk. He said he was busy. That word made me tense. Connor used to like attention. Now he looked like he wanted distance. I followed him toward the supply hall and asked why he was acting different. He said he did not want drama. I asked what drama meant. He said he heard people talk and he did not want his name mixed into marriage problems. I told him nobody had to know anything. He said that was exactly the problem. I felt insulted. I asked if he was blaming me. He said he was not blaming anyone, but he needed boundaries. I almost laughed. Men loved boundaries when it protected them, but they called it control when it protected me. I told him Ethan had been watching me and making me feel unsafe. Connor said Ethan never seemed unsafe when he had met him. I said unsafe could be quiet too. Connor did not answer. Back at the desk, I typed too hard on the keyboard. A patient asked if everything was okay. I said I had allergies. My boss, Dr. Patel, walked past and gave me a look like she was checking my face. I hated that look. It made me feel like my life was slipping into the building. During lunch, my coworker Tasha sat beside me in the break area. She asked if I wanted to join her after work for a quick smoothie. I said maybe. She asked if I seemed stressed because of Ethan. I asked why she brought up Ethan. She said I had been talking about him a lot lately. That annoyed me, because I thought I had been careful. I asked what she meant. She said she heard me say he had cameras and trust issues, and it sounded serious. I told her it was serious. I told her he liked to monitor things. I said it like I was warning her, like I was a responsible woman. Tasha asked if I felt safe. I said yes, but then I said I felt watched. Tasha said watched was not the same as unsafe. I told her it was when you lived with a controlling man. I was still talking when Dr. Patel walked in. She asked if I could come to the small office after lunch. She said it in a calm voice, but my stomach dropped. Calm voices often meant consequences. The HR room was not fancy. It had a small table and 2 chairs and a folder on the edge. Dr. Patel sat with her hands folded. Our HR coordinator, Naomi, sat beside her. Naomi asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes, but Ethan had been acting strange. Naomi asked what strange meant. I said he had been distant and suspicious, and he used tech to control the house. Dr. Patel asked if Ethan ever came to the clinic. I said no. Naomi asked if I expected him to show up. I said I did not know, but he had been unpredictable. That was not true. Ethan was very predictable. He was predictable in a way that made me feel guilty, because it meant my choices were the chaos. Naomi asked if there had been any threats. I said no threats, but emotional pressure. I said he used silence as punishment. Dr. Patel asked if I wanted resources, like counseling numbers. I said I just needed understanding, and I needed people not to judge me. Naomi said there had been gossip. She said someone reported that I had brought private life drama into the workplace, and it made people uncomfortable. I asked who reported it. She said she could not say. I felt my face heat up. I told them people loved judging women. I told them men could flirt and nobody cared, but if a woman had stress, everyone acted like she was dangerous. Dr. Patel said she only cared about patient comfort and clinic safety. She asked if I could keep personal issues off the floor. I said yes, and I smiled like I was grateful. Inside, I felt angry. I wanted someone to blame, so I blamed Ethan again. I told myself he caused this by being cold. After the meeting, I checked my phone and saw Jessa had texted me. She asked if I was still posting hints online. I said I posted nothing serious. She replied that people were talking at Mila's school, and it was embarrassing. I asked why she cared about embarrassment. She said she cared about Mila. That word landed harder than I expected. I told myself she was being dramatic. Still, I did not reply right away. When I got home, Mila was at the table doing homework. Ethan was in the living room with his laptop open. He looked up and asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He asked if I seemed tired. I said I was fine again, sharper this time. I glanced at his laptop and saw a plain grid of numbers and dates. No title, no bright colors, just rows. My eyes caught a few words in a column like pickup, deposit, and call. He noticed me looking and closed the screen with one soft click. I asked what that was. He said it was personal tracking. I asked why he needed to track anything. He said he liked clarity. I said clarity was a fancy word for suspicion. He said he was not going to argue about definitions. I went to the kitchen and opened the cabinet too loudly. I hoped he would react. He did not. He asked if I wanted tea. I said no. He asked if I wanted to talk about a plan for Mila's week, like school pickup and bedtime. I said Mila had a plan, and it was called Both Parents Acting Normal. He said that was his goal too. Later, Mila walked into the kitchen while I was washing a cup. She asked why Dad slept in the other room. I said he was stressed. She asked if it was her fault. I said no, and my voice softened without permission. She asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad got mad at small things. Mila said Dad did not look mad, just quiet. She asked if quiet meant he was leaving. That question made my throat feel tight. I told her nobody was leaving. I told her families had phases. She nodded like she was trying to believe me. Then she went back to her homework. That evening, Ethan's mother, Karen, called. She asked if she could take Mila for one weekend, just to give her fun and calm. I was standing near the sink, and Ethan had the phone on speaker. I said Mila was fine at home. Karen said she was sure Mila was fine, but children still feel stress. I said I handled stress every day. Karen said she believed me, but she wanted Mila to have space from adult tension. I could hear how polite she was, and it made me furious. Polite people can say sharp things without raising their voice. I asked if she was implying I was causing tension. Karen said she was implying nothing. She said she wanted to help. Ethan said Mila could go if Mila wanted. He asked Mila if she wanted a weekend with Grandma. Mila said yes. She said Grandma's house smelled like cookies. I smiled at Mila, but my smile hurt. After dinner, Ethan walked to the hallway, and his phone made a soft beep. I heard it from the kitchen. He looked at the screen and swiped. A second later, I heard another beep, like a confirmation. Later, when I checked the shared cloud account on my phone, I saw a small notice. File uploaded successfully. No file name, just that message. I stared at it too long. My mind ran in circles. I told myself he was collecting evidence to control me. Then I told myself I had done nothing wrong, so evidence would not matter. Both thoughts fought, and neither one helped. When I went to bed, the bed felt too big again. Ethan did not come in. I listened to the house and tried to guess what he was doing. I wanted him to come argue so I could win. I wanted him to apologize so I could feel powerful. Instead, the house stayed quiet, and the quiet started to feel like a door closing. I tried to act normal after that. I told myself I was the adult. I told myself Ethan was playing games. Still, the house felt split. His mug stayed on the far counter. His shoes stayed by the guest room. Even the air felt organized against me. The next day, I checked my banking app while I was standing in the clinic hallway. A small alert sat at the top like it had been waiting. It said a deposit destination was changed. I stared at it and felt my heart jump. I told myself it had to be a mistake. Then I told myself Ethan had done it to punish me. I called him during my lunch break. He answered fast, like he had been expecting it. I asked why the deposit changed. He said he was adjusting things. I asked what things. He said household things. I asked if he was trying to starve me. He said nobody was starving, and he was keeping bills paid. I said he was being controlling. He said he was being careful. That word again, careful. After work, I drove to the supermarket because I wanted to feel normal. I picked up Mila from school, and she sat in the back seat humming to herself. I asked how her day was. She said she had art class. She asked if Dad would be home for dinner. I said yes, if he could stop acting like a stranger. At the supermarket, the lights were cold and the aisles felt too wide. Ethan met us there, which should have made things easier. Instead, it felt like a meeting. He walked beside the cart and kept his hands relaxed, like he was practicing calm. I reached for a few extra items on purpose. I grabbed the name-brand snacks Mila liked and a fancy coffee. Ethan looked at the cart and asked if we could keep it simple this week. I said I was allowed to buy food. He said, of course, but he wanted to track the basics. I asked why he was tracking like I was a thief. He said he was tracking like a grown person. At checkout, he asked to see the total before I tapped my card. I said he was acting like my father. He said he just wanted receipts. I laughed and asked if he wanted to put the receipt in his little secret drawer. He did not react. He took the receipt when it printed and folded it neatly, then put it in his wallet like it was routine. Mila asked if we could get a small candy. Ethan said yes. I almost said no just to prove I was the one in charge. Then I said yes too, at the same time, and it sounded like we were reading from a script. In the parking lot, I tried again. I asked Ethan why he was being so cold. He said he was not cold, he was calm. I said calm was just another kind of cruelty. He asked if we could talk at home, away from the child. I said he always had an excuse to delay. He said he did not want Mila to hear adult conflict. I said Mila already heard conflict because he made the house tense. He put the bags in the trunk and closed it slowly. He asked Mila to hold his hand while we walked to the car. That small choice made me angry. It felt like he was taking her without touching me. At home, I followed him into the garage. I wanted him to snap. I wanted him to say something sharp. I wanted proof that I was right about him. If he stayed calm, then I had nothing to show people. He carried the bags inside and put them away without speaking. I stood in the doorway and asked if he was going to tell me what he was doing with money. He said he was making sure bills were covered and that spending was clear. I asked why spending suddenly mattered. He said it mattered because life was changing. That sentence felt like a threat. I asked if he was planning to leave me. He asked me to lower my voice because Mila was in the living room. I said Mila could hear the truth. He said the truth did not need shouting. I moved closer, blocking his path to the hallway. I did it without thinking. Part of me wanted him to push past so I could say he touched me. He did not. He stepped back and asked me to move so he could check on Mila. I said he was avoiding me. He said he was prioritizing Mila. I told him he was acting like a saint for basic parenting. He said he was not acting like anything. He said he was doing what was right. I asked if he thought I was not right. He said he thought we needed clear rules now. I laughed and said rules were his love language. He asked me not to mock him. I asked why he had the right to cameras and locked drawers, but I had no rights. He said I had rights, and that was why he was doing things carefully. I asked what carefully meant. He said it meant no yelling, no drama, no public fights. That last part hit a nerve. I told him public fights happened because he embarrassed me. He asked how he embarrassed me. I said he embarrassed me by making me feel watched, by sleeping in another room, by acting like I was dangerous. He said he slept in another room to reduce tension. I said he slept there to punish me. He asked if I wanted to list punishments or solve problems. I said my problem was him. He said he was not going to accept that. My phone buzzed with a message from my mother. Deborah asked if Ethan was still being cold and if I needed her to come over. I felt the familiar comfort of a crowd forming. I told Ethan my family thought he was acting strange. He said he was not responsible for my family's opinions. I said he made them worry. He said he was not going to fight with my mother through me. I said I could tell everyone what he was really like. He asked what I meant. I said I could tell them he had cameras, and he tracked me, and he was trying to control money. He nodded like he was listening to a report. Then he asked one question. He asked if I thought saying those things would make Mila's life better. I said Mila needed a strong mother. He said Mila needed peace. I told him he should delete any videos. I called them videos on purpose, like I was accusing him of something dirty. He looked at me with the same calm face. He said he would not discuss that with me in the kitchen. I said that meant he had something. He said it meant he had boundaries. I stepped aside only because Mila walked into the hallway. She asked if we were mad. Ethan crouched and asked her if she wanted to read a book before bed. She said yes. He asked if she wanted Mom too. Mila looked at me and shrugged, like she did not want to choose. I felt a sting in my chest and turned it into anger. After Mila went to her room, I followed Ethan to the driveway. The night air was sharp. His car was pointed toward the street, like he had parked it ready. I asked if he was leaving. He said no, he was just keeping things practical. I asked what that meant. He said it meant he was going to handle this the right way. I told him to stop talking like a robot. He said he was done reacting to provocation. I asked if he was calling me provoking. He said he was calling the situation serious. I said he was acting like I was the problem. He looked straight at me and said he was not going to argue anymore. Then, in the same calm tone, he told me he would handle it properly. I walked into the office tower lobby because Naomi from HR had asked me to come sign a workplace note about keeping personal matters private. I told myself it was annoying, but manageable. I wore my nicest cardigan because I wanted to look calm and correct. I wanted to look like the victim who still showed up. The lobby smelled like coffee and polished stone. People in badges moved around me like I was furniture. I checked my phone and saw Ethan had not texted. I told myself he was hiding because he knew he was wrong. A man in a plain suit stepped in front of me. He asked if I was Idalia Rowe. I said yes and asked who he was. He said he was there to deliver legal documents. I laughed once because it sounded unreal. He asked me to confirm my address. I said I did not have to tell him anything. He said I did not need to discuss anything, but he did need to hand me the packet. I looked around and noticed 2 coworkers near the elevator watching. Naomi was there too, holding a folder to her chest. My throat went dry. I tried to step sideways, but the man moved with me in a calm way and held the packet out again. I took it because my hands were shaking and I wanted it to stop. The first page had my name and Ethan's name. I saw the words about marriage and separation. I saw bold lines that said temporary orders were active right away. I read the sentence twice because my brain kept refusing it. I heard myself ask if this was a joke. The man said it was not a joke. I flipped pages fast. I saw sections about money and property. It said neither of us could empty accounts, sell things, or move the child without agreement. It said communication had to be about Mila and had to stay respectful. It said exchanges for Mila had to follow a schedule starting today. It said the home would be used in a specific way until a hearing date, and the date was soon. My face felt hot. I told Naomi this was private. Naomi said she had not asked for it and she could not stop it. I told her Ethan was trying to ruin me. Naomi said she hoped I had support. Then I saw an exhibit list. It was not graphic. It was cold and tidy. It named camera timestamps, door entry logs, and screenshots of a social media post. It listed a night Maren was in the master bedroom. It listed the time Connor arrived and left. The lines looked like simple math. I heard my own voice say Ethan was sick for recording me. A familiar calm voice answered from behind me. Ethan said the cameras were for entry points and safety, and he had never pointed them at private acts. He said he had saved what mattered for the process, and he would not discuss it in the lobby. I turned and saw him standing near the glass doors with Owen beside him. Ethan's face looked tired but steady. I asked why he did this in public. He said he did not choose the lobby. He chose the lawful path. I said he was making me look bad. He said I had been doing that to him for weeks, and he would not fight back with gossip. He said I could contact him only about Mila, only by text, and only with respect. I said he was controlling me. He said he was following the temporary orders, starting now. I looked down at the page again and saw the words effective immediately. My hand started to shake harder, and I realized the papers were not a warning. They were already real.